Now, there is a difference, and I'll just say this and then I'll go on. There is error, and there's fatal error. I'll give you an example. Revelation chapter 20 and 21, we could get in a good discussion, particularly on chapter 21. Is that speaking about the church, or is that speaking about heaven? Now, that's an opinion issue. I can tell you that. I know brethren say, that's heaven. Others say, no, it's not heaven, it's the church. And then maybe someone comes along and says, well, maybe it's the church with overtones of heaven. Does it matter? I mean, it does. They're both not right, unless it's the overtones and involves both. But you could also go to maybe Acts 2:38. And someone says, well, I believe it's the miraculous, which I happen to believe. Another brother says, well, I believe it's all that God would bring, including the miraculous, but it also involves salvation as well. I mean, those are distinctions, but do we need to divide the church over that? Certainly not. And so fellowship determined, I would say this, as I go into my third and final point, which we'll spend most of our time on, fellowship denied, I want to say this, brethren, Ephesians 4:32. Ephesians 4:31 and 32 is just as much a part of the Bible as Acts 2:38. Ephesians 4:31 and 32. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. Sometimes this is even harder, because I can tell you, brethren, when I come across false teachers like Cato and Shelly and these guys, I'm like the little girl across the street. I sometimes want to rip their head off and dip it in mustard and eat it. But I have to work with them in a certain way to try to make sure that I convert